What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Not About Wrestling. I am Chris Laminati, and I'm here today with the Badstreet Beauty, Miss Miranda Gordy. Miranda, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. You said you're at a show in Iowa. What show is it?
It's for Impact Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
Not like the Impact on TV, but Impact Pro that's been around the Midwest for I would say 20 years or so. I think that's what he said. So it's been around a while. 2 weekends ago, I did the Hall of Fame, the Luthez Hall of Fame in Waterloo, and I had such a great time, and me and the promoter got along. And so he invited me out because I also love county fairs. That's like a guilty pleasure of mine. And so I'm here to wrestle and see baby cows and goats.
Okay. We'll talk about the wrestling in a minute. Is baby cows and goats your favorite part of the county fair?
It is. Yes. I love any farm animals. I live on a Angus farm right now. And I used to live on a ranch and take care of horses and stuff. So I love animals in general, but farm animals, I have a soft spot for them.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you did not grow up on Badstreet, USA?
So on the other side of the street, there's a farm.
I got it. So did you do a lot of the farm things growing up?
Actually, so no, I was born near Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So we lived on a mountain, and you can't really have horses and stuff. In some places you can, but you can't have farm animals up there. And so growing up, I always wanted a horse, and that was kind of mine and my sister, my grandmother's thing. And as an adult, my first house, we had land. And so that's one of the first things I did was I got chickens and rabbits, and I had this whole zoo within the first 6 months. And no, I didn't get to do it growing up, but I always wanted to. And now I'm kind of doing that plus wrestling. So
So you're way ahead of the curve. Now I see people with chickens all the time in their backyard.
Exactly. Yes. I know, because they're so beneficial and they're kind of cute. And if you can, get the right one, every 10 or so hatch, they'll be your best friend. And it's the cutest thing. Yeah.
There's a house not too far. So I live in New Jersey, and there's a house maybe a quarter mile away from my apartment where they have chickens in the backyard, and I see them walking around, and I'm like, how do they just not wander off?
Sometimes they do. And it's unfortunate because chickens are really tasty and everybody loves chicken, including, dogs and coyotes and stuff. But yeah, they'll absolutely just walk wherever. We had some neighbors, they would just go up on the porch and just chill with the neighbors. And yeah, they're interesting. They're cute. I like them.
That's hilarious. What's your favorite county fair food?
Oh, a funnel cake. Of course.
I did not expect that. I don't know why.
Really? Do I look maybe a corn dog or a fried Oreo person?
No, you know what? Here's why. Because where I'm at, and we don't call them county fairs, but we do have fairs like that, 4-H fairs and things like that. And I feel funnel cakes are just so you can get them anywhere. You can get them at a ballpark. You can get them at. So I feel people might be sick of that. So I thought you were going to say something that only happens at county fairs or is a very seasonal thing.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. A lot of these kind of have the same. They have the fresh squeezed lemonade and the funnel cakes. And then in Texas, if you go to the Texas State Fair, they have deep fried anything you could ask for, a deep fried Dr. Pepper and deep fried sticks of butter. I don't take it that far. I'll just stick with the funnel cake. So
are you a sweets person or a not, and I don't want to say savory because I don't know, are you a sweets person or a junk food type person?
Oh, I'm a sweets person. If I could eat cake 24 hours a day.
I mean, you could.
Yeah, yes, I could. It wouldn't last long, but I could.
No. What's your favorite? What's your go-to cake?
Oh, just your standard birthday cake. You can't have a bad time eating birthday cake, right?
Everyone says that. Whenever I talk to someone and they're like, "Oh, I'm dying for some cake," and I think they're gonna say something really extravagant or something they had one time. They're like, the grocery store birthday cake that you get, and I'm like, really? That's what you would go for right now?
Because it's so good. It probably brings back memories or something as a kid. You taste it and you're like, yay, Chuck E. Cheese or something. So
Yeah. My daughter makes we get the the cupcakes that you just make out of the box and then the frosting and stuff. And like she'll make them and she'll love them, and my son will eat them, and I'll be like, this is just hot garbage. Like this is not. I guess maybe because my tastes have changed a little bit. I've actually had legit cupcakes, so when you taste those, you're like, oh, these are awful.
Oh, no, I leave all the baking of sweets to the professionals for sure. Like, I don't even attempt it at home. My boyfriend is a chef. I'm like, no, the people at Kroger know what they're doing. Just, I'll go get a cupcake from Kroger.
Since your boyfriend is a chef, do you even ever attempt to try and cook?
No. I think in our like 2-year relationship, I've only cooked maybe some quesadillas, and that's it. Like, because he'll get extravagant with it, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to compete. Absolutely not.
Did he like kind of critique your work?
Oh yeah. I'm like, I hyped it up too, which was my mistake. I'm like, I make these really great quesadillas, and he's like, well, you could have done this, and I'm like, I'll never. You're just gonna have to cook forever. So
yeah. Sometimes, like I think about that. Like, I wonder if the person who does cook a lot, if they just want the other person just to try once in a while, just so they don't have to.
Oh yeah. He's like, well, when are you gonna cook for me? I'm like, well, never, because you'll just crap on it. It'll never be as good as yours, and I can admit that, and I'm fine with it. But he's gonna have to do all the work.
Does he ever get super picky when you guys go to restaurants?
Sometimes. Most of the time, we're on the road and we'll eat junk or whatever, or meal preps. But yeah, if we go somewhere and they hype something up, and he can absolutely pick it apart or say, oh, they've done a great job. So yeah, he definitely critiques it all.
What's your go-to on the road food?
Ooh. So depending on where we're at, we try to do the local favorites. Like, we'll ask what everyone recommends, like what sort of a diner or burger joint or something, and we'll try that. So it's usually like burgers or the diner type food that people have. But like, if you go to Texas, people are like, oh, try the brisket or something like that. So we try to try new things. Otherwise, we'll stop at like Casey's. I know that's so weird, like the gas station, but they have good pizza. So.
It's kind of sad though. I can imagine. So now you're back out on the road and you're going to be traveling with wrestling and stuff. Unfortunately, probably a lot of the places that you went to might not be there anymore because of COVID, and they just didn't reopen up. So you gonna have to maybe find new places to go.
I know, and that I hate that for those small businesses, and hopefully I got to enjoy them at least once, if they were good. Hopefully their community stuck with them and supported them through everything, and if we don't know about it, hopefully we'll get to try them. Hopefully they made it. So
do you get, when you're on the road, do you get real serious about meal planning, or do you kind of just wing it?
It really just depends on how long we're on the road. It's hard to, like, if we're on the road for any more than 4 days, we're just going to have to be good and discipline ourselves. If it's like, 1 or 2 days, that's easy to have meal preps. It's very hard to like have meal preps for any more than 4 days. So, it really just depends on where we're going. If like we can get it into a fridge in time, it really just depends. It's probably 50-50.
Got you. And then also, if you're working a state fair, like all bets are off, right?
Yeah, all bets are off because I'm getting a funnel cake. So
I mean, that could be your one meal of the day, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I knew I was getting a funnel cake, so I certainly upped the cardio today. So
there you go.
As long as I break even at least, right?
Yeah, that's true. I noticed on your Instagram account that you do, I mean, just like any other professional wrestler, you do work out a lot. Do you like cardio? Do you like weights? Like, what's your favorite thing to do in there?
Definitely weights over cardio. I don't mind cardio. It kind of gives me time to like reflect and like get in a mode, and like sometimes I'll run a nature trail or something, and it's nice because there's deer and scenery, and otherwise I'm on the step machine and I'm like, all right, I hype myself up, or I'll watch a wrestling match or something like that. Whatever I gotta like think about for the day, I'll do it then. But definitely lifting the weights and stuff. I just get a pump, and it's like, yeah, I'm Wonder Woman. So,
but getting back to the working out thing, I was gonna ask you, because you said about the cardio and the pump. Oh no, you said you watch wrestling matches while you're working out. Older stuff, newer stuff. What do you watch?
Oh, definitely older stuff. I enjoy the older stuff, mostly like my dad's stuff, or any of the Freebird stuff, any All Japan. That's probably my favorite. Is I'll look up a lot of the Japanese matches, um, and then whatever people tell me, like, hey, watch, so and so, like Chris Benoit for this, or uh, Shawn Michaels for this, just to kind of see like whatever my trainer or someone recommended for me to watch. I'll at that time I'll watch that. I'll watch the like I watched a Brad Armstrong match today. It was good, just like for technical reasons, or if there's like a move I want to try, or psychology wise, it just depends on what I need. So
I've never been able to ask anybody this. I think you're only the second generation wrestler that I've had on here. I had Shaw Guerrero. Yeah, I think you're the only second generation wrestler I've had. So I've never been able to ask this question. What's it like to go to YouTube and be able to look up your dad anytime you want?
well, considering the circumstance, it's actually, I feel very blessed. Because I lost him when I was young, and because there's so much footage of him, it's like, a lot of people don't have a lot of memories, and like anytime I want to see him, he's there. I can just look him up on YouTube, and it's great. Like before I got into wrestling, I could just watch him do promos, like just to hear his voice and stuff. But now I'm in wrestling, like I get to kind of learn more about him and how he did things and why, and it's a different perspective now that I'm in the business. But I think it's a blessing to be able to just log on the internet and Google him anytime and find so much about, like, endless amounts of stuff.
Now, when he passed, you were about 12, right? 12 or 13?
11, almost 12, yeah.
11, 12. Okay. Did you at that point give like any inclination that you might want to be a wrestler? Did you ever talk about that with him?
No, I was so young, and he was doing it, and like obviously you don't know these things are coming, and you're a kid and you're not thinking about the future. It was the middle of the summer and I was just thinking about swimming in the pool and stuff like that. So no, not until like 3 years ago did I even really consider getting into wrestling. For the longest time, it kind of was a little heartbreaking. Like it would always remind me of him. Anytime I would go to a show or people would ask, about it, or be like, hey, you should join wrestling. I'm like, I really don't think I could. I couldn't handle it emotionally because it would just remind me of him, which it was just for the longest time. I'd never recovered from it, I guess. I never got over it. And I don't know. I woke up one day and I guess I was fine. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'll try this. And my biggest regret is not getting into it sooner, because it's been the biggest healing for me, meeting all these people that worked with him and like knew him really well and spent a lot of time on the road with him, and they talk about how great he was and how much they loved him. And so it's like getting to know him, through other people. So it's been a big healing process for me.
Has anyone told you a great story about him that you've never heard before?
Oh, all the time. Like last weekend I was with Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton always tells me funny stories. For Animal Pass, he was telling me stories. Mick Foley, loved him. Michael Hayes is my uncle. He's my godfather. He tells me new stories all the time. Like he'll just call me randomly and he's like, I was just thinking about this time. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and tell me. And so he'll tell me some adventure they got into and we'll laugh about it. And yeah, every time I meet someone that worked with him, they want to tell me a story. And I'm sure it helps the both of us because it was a loss to everyone. Yeah. So it helps them. It reminds them of a good time they had with someone they loved. And it helps me because I get to know like another memory of my dad, something funny or cool that he did.
So you said, you watch a lot of the Freebird stuff. I've always had this theory. I don't even know if I've ever discussed it on the show. I know I've discussed it with friends. There's two different Freebirds. I'm going to relate it to Van Halen. There's your dad's version. That's the David Lee Roth version. That's, him, Buddy, and Michael. And then there's Michael and Jimmy Garvin. And that's the other. That's like the Van Hagar kind of Van Halen. Have you ever heard anyone say that? Like there's two different types of Freebirds?
Oh, absolutely. I see people debate it all the time. They're like, Jimmy wasn't a real Freebird or, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, sure he was. And, it was kind of a transition at the early 90s. My dad was going off to All Japan and because he got a better deal. And, Michael wanted to continue on and do the wrestling rock star thing. And Jimmy was already kind of in with the Freebirds and stuff. So it just transitioned into Michael doing the WCW thing and then my dad doing the All Japan thing. And it worked out for both of them, so that's just kind of what it was. But I consider them all Freebirds, obviously. So they're all family to me.
Do you think a Freebirds female gimmick would work today, like you and two other people?
Possibly, yes. If I found the right people to do it. Obviously, it would be hard to find a Buddy Roberts. Buddy Roberts was one of a kind. You have the Gordy. And also finding a good Michael Hayes, because Michael Hayes is just untouchable. He's a one of a kind dude too. Like they all had key elements that made them so different and stand out and innovative. So I think it's possible. We'll just have to find the right people.
Okay. Do you want to play fantasy? I don't want to call it fantasy booker, but do you want to play fantasy real quick? Let's pretend any female wrestlers were available. If you had to find a female wrestler most like Michael Hayes, who could it be?
Ooh, that's hard to say. I need a good talker. Like you got to be a good talker and a good like crap starter. Get the people real mad at you. So flamboyant and flashy and.
Okay, for some reason, like I keep going with like they don't have to look exactly, but if I'm gonna throw a shit talker in there, maybe like a Bailey would make like a good Michael Hayes.
Yeah, like a good, good crap talker. Okay.
And then you need the Buddy Roberts, the like consummate worker, kind of stays in the background, does her thing. Oh, there's so many. That's tough. Like if we did a female version of what if you did two guys in you and made them the Freebirds?
There's that too. Like, we're kind of getting into the era of intergender is becoming normal now, and so I wouldn't be opposed to adding guys to the group. So as long as they fit, because a lot of girls just don't play the technical role, and that there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot of really good like technical guys that are just down to like wrestle, and that's kind of what Buddy did. He was the technician. So he was also kind of a little troll and a heat magnet, but
well, they all were in their own way.
Sure. But yeah, I think absolutely a guy would fit the Buddy role very well.
How do you feel about intergender wrestling? You like it? You didn't?
I love it. I obviously don't mind. I'm bigger than a lot of girls. So, and some of these indie shows, I'm bigger than a lot of the guys too. Like height and just, I work out. And so I don't mind, like, as long as it's a good story and it makes sense. Obviously, I would never want to get into a ring with like Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton because they're huge and that doesn't make sense. They obviously would just dominate me. But like, if it was a guy that was close to my size and we could make a good match and make it make sense, I'm absolutely for it.
I think a lot of the problem is, and it might be getting better now, but I think a lot of the problem is on the other side of it, like who's going to want to put the woman over because they're going to feel like it's going to ruin, any push that they're, you know what I mean? Like it's the male ego is going to get in the way.
Sure. And I mean, I can understand that because men and women are different, no matter how much you argument, it's just we're naturally different and in good ways, like positive ways. I don't mean that negatively, but women are becoming athletes, like serious athletes. And there are some serious women that I think could actually take men like literally. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm one of those, but women are coming up, and I think it's a possibility that a lot of these guys, either the guys are going to have to start working out more, or the women are going to start kicking their butts. We'll leave it as that.
I mean, I'm man enough to say that Shayna Baszler could kick my ass. I'm sure she could kick most of the guys on the roster's ass, and they don't want to admit it. But like,
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, she's a great athlete. She has an MMA background and stuff, and she kind of looks like a badass. So definitely some of these indie guys she could take like easily,
Uh-huh.
and they'll just have
Okay,
to
so
get.
you got into the business later than most people kind of would if their family was already in the business. Do you feel like getting into it, there was more pressure because of who your dad was? Less pressure? Do you think there was less pressure because you're a female, more pressure because you're a female? Like, how do you think? If
As far as being a girl, I think now is the best time for women wrestlers. Like
mm,
I said, they're being taken seriously as athletes now, and not just like showgirls and shiny gear and tits and ass and stuff. So now I think is the best time for a woman to get into wrestling. As far as being a second gen, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. On the indies, it's been great. My name gets me in the door. However, people have kind of expected me to be on a Gordy level just right out of the gate, and unfortunately, I'm not. I'm only a total of 3 years. I've only been doing matches for two, and so I'm still very green. And
mm.
I think that's the pressure people put on me as far as that. They're just expecting my dad's results out of me immediately. Luckily, I have had great trainers in my life, and I've had a lot of support on the outside. And so I've learned really fast, and I've learned on the road at the best of my abilities. And I continue to learn. And so hopefully it takes me there. And, I'll admit I'll never be even half as good as my dad, but a lot of people aren't. So, as long as I can just carry on the name and do good things with it, that's all I really care about.
I mean, he was also a freak, isn't? Didn't he start at like 19? Wasn't he wrestling?
He started at 14.
Okay, so he started at
So,
14, but like he was like headlining when he was like in his early 20s.
oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he started really young and he did it up until he passed. Like,
Mm,
he was just like, yeah, kind of a freak in nature. Like, he was born to wrestle, it was
mm.
for him. So, like, it's a natural ability that I don't have and a lot of people don't have, and he had it. So for me to even think that I could compare to that is just, it's no, impossible. So
The good thing too now is there's back again a lot more places to work now. You
that's
know,
true.
with COVID, we're opening up, and I feel like there's maybe a lot more indie promotions kind of like getting back into it or just starting because of COVID. So you have a lot more places to go. Like you mentioned that this just popped up 2 weeks ago, and now you're working the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh yeah. We travel all over. Like, we weren't down long for COVID. Where we were, Texas, obviously, they shut down for just a little bit. Then they were like, we don't really care. So we worked a lot in Texas. I don't think Oklahoma ever shut down. We worked in Oklahoma. There was places that just like Tennessee didn't have a mandate very long. We worked there. So I think we were really out only like 3 months, like not very long as compared to most people. And so we were right back at it. And we've been doing it for almost a year now. So
yeah, you got lucky. New Jersey, I feel like we've never got back in. I mean, we are kind of open back up, but now they're actually talking about going back to masks, and it feels like it's starting all over again. And
yeah.
I don't want it to. That right now they're at the we recommend masks indoors. I
Mm-hmm.
don't put them on, but I mean I know they recommend it. I don't know. It's just we thought we were like out of the woods, and then some places aren't, and then it's just I don't know. But what was I just gonna ask you? So after this event, do you going somewhere else, like, or do you go back home?
Yeah, we're not far from home. I'm currently living in the Kansas City area.
Okay.
So we're not far from there, like an hour and a half. So we'll drive back home. Tomorrow we have a Superman festival in Metropolis, Illinois, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, yeah, I'll do a Superman festival.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so we're gonna do that just to check it out, because that's half the fun of wrestling is you get to travel and see new places. So,
Mhm.
you get paid to do it. So I'm gonna go get paid to go hang out at the Superman festival tomorrow. So,
What's the most unexpected town you've been to? Like maybe you thought it was going to be like a really small town and it ended up being amazing, or the other way around? Like you thought a town was going to be amazing. You're just like, this is like 3 traffic lights and post office.
Oh, that's probably Lubbock, Texas. I was there last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, what in the rattlesnakes and tumbleweeds is this place?
Really? See,
Because
now
it's just,
I would think Lubbock, because I've heard Lubbock a million times. I would think it was kind of
yeah.
like a city.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, because I've heard about it, because I was living in Texas for 10 years and like I thought it was like this big city and it wasn't. It's kind of like a not a full desert, but like a Texas desert, and it's not very big.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Not too long ago, you had an NXT tryout. How does that work? Like, do not just with NXT, but with some of the bigger promotions, do they call you up? Do you still have to send in like video and stuff? Like, how does that work?
So yeah, so I did it through obviously Michael helped me get the tryout, but
Mm.
you have like a profile with WWE.
Okay.
You get on the website and you can go and make a profile and you update it every time you get new content. You put your matches on there and like your promo shots and like any sort of, it's like a resume basically for them. And they'll check it out every once in a while, and it helps like get extra work with the WWE, like extra spots when they have a show in your town, and it's a way for them to scout you basically. I've not reached out to AEW. I'm not sure how their process is, but I know that's how WWE is.
Mhm.
So if they like you, or they're looking for certain demographic of people, like my tryout, they were looking for Indian males. So there was a lot of people from India. I'd say a lot. There was like 9 guys that Indians. So that's what they were looking for at the time. So that's how they do it.
See, that's interesting. I would think, now I didn't know that. I would think that they were just open to looking for wrestlers, but it's almost like it's a casting call. They're looking to like, I guess they make sense. They're looking to fill in a show. They're like trying to find,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy how you think about that stuff. Like I would just think they were looking for however many wrestlers to fill spots.
Right. I think that's what everyone thinks, is they're looking for the greatest wrestler out there right now. Like who can be the greatest and make them money. But no, it's entertainment. World Wrestling Entertainment is the bottom line. And that's what they do. They have a show. And if you can also wrestle while filling their need, then you probably get hired.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. What about any of the others, like Impact, Ring of Honor, any of those?
I'm not sure. I haven't reached out to any of them either. I've kind of, after my tryout, I took their advice, and I'm kind of working on getting experience, I guess, so I can do another one. Working, because I did the tryout at 1.5 years in. I'm obviously super green, and they gave me all the things that they're looking for and what to work on so that I can like ace the next one. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on. Obviously, people are like, oh, I'd love to see on AEW, and I would not mind at all working for them. I would love the opportunity. I just haven't reached out to them yet. So like all my friends are on there, people that I work all the time, and it's awesome to see. I just haven't done it. I haven't done it for Ring of Honor or Impact either. I've been like invited to reach out to them, but I just have not. So
sometimes you're better off. Like sometimes if you reach out too soon and they kind of see you and you're not ready, that kind of sticks in their head, and they're like, they're not ready. And that sticks around for a while. But if you do it when you feel you're ready, because you'll know when you're ready. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm focusing on like SWE right now, and like local stuff like this. Like I just found this place, and it's easier so that I can, like, I have a ring where we're at, and so I can focus on the experience, because that's what I need more right now. I'm only 2 years in. I need experience over like exposure. So that's what I feel.
When you watch the old matches and stuff, do you ever pull ideas from that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm like, oh, I really like how they did this. I like this spot or this move, or like a full matches. I'll be like, if I have like a 3-minute match and I saw a really cool, 3-minute match on YouTube, I'm like, this is really good. Let's just replace it with, our moves or whatever. So
Right.
stuff like that. I just learned the psychology of it. Sometimes I'll copy like full matches. I
Mhm.
take a lot of stuff from my dad's matches. Just because he's my favorite, and so I tried to copy him a lot. So a lot of the things I do, he did.
I was actually just watching one of your dad's matches the other night. I've been on a world class kick for a while, and I feel like it was a championship against. Oh God, there were so many Bon Erics. Who remembers? I maybe Carrie, maybe Cat. I don't remember, but it was one of those like World Star Wars. I think it was called, like their version of like WrestleMania or whatever. And I think your dad was like in the main event or co-main event or something. But here's one move that I want someone to bring back, and maybe you can bring it back for me. Can you please bring back the test of strength? I used to love that. Like where they just put the hand up,
They just put the
and they put the fingers up there, and they got to like look around, and then you got to like do the test of strength, and then maybe you bring it down, you put it on the mat, and you stamp on their hands. I used to love that as a kid. I don't know why.
I've done it in a couple matches just on the fly, just to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Next time I do it, I'd be like, "This is for you."
Yeah. Yeah. And then I would love if, and I know the WWE would never do this. I would love if they would just let people do their own promos. Don't talk for them. Just let them talk.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the Attitude Era. Everything was organic, so. That's why it was so over. And now I think that just from what I know, and I could be wrong, is they think too much about it. It's overthought, and maybe they have to. Maybe they have to do it that way because that's what the television stations want, or whoever is gonna own them next or whatever. Maybe. But yeah, that I think the Attitude Era was really great because everything just got over organically. And I think that's the best.
When you have to do a promo, do you kind of have like an idea? Like, do you write stuff down even when you're not like in work mode?
I think about stuff like if we're driving down the road and like I know I have a promo coming up, I'll kind of think of what sounds good or what would be something catchy to say or funny or fit it. Sometimes I'll write the whole thing down. Sometimes I'll just like the best time to get me is like I just had a match. I'm in the mode. Like my adrenaline's pumping. Put the camera in my face. Let me say something right then. But if it's something I got to put out online, I'll probably do it once or like 2 or 3 takes just to get the best one. So.
Have you ever said anything and you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that"?
Yes. Accidentally. It happens. So sometimes they cover it up. Sometimes I'm like, just roll with it.
Yeah, the best promos are always the ones. I mean, but coming out of the ring, aren't you like always like I used to love when they used to do it on the old the Saturday night show for WCW when they would wrestle. We would talk to guys who just came out of the ring and they would like, put a microphone in their face and they'd be like, well, I just want like the guy could barely breathe. And it's like, can you give him a second to maybe collect his thoughts? Like, I know he knows he's going to be cutting a promo when he's done, but like, you don't realize how gassed you're going to be. And then they're like sitting there trying to talk at a microphone and you're just like, give this guy 5 seconds to like really get his thoughts.
Right. No, I know. I agree. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the feel of it. Like it makes it seem more real, that they're breathing heavy and like they just got their butt kicked or they just won or something. It brings more, I guess, enthusiasm. Like you just did it. So,
right.
Yeah.
If you get to talk tonight, can you cut a promo on the funnel cakes and tell everybody how awful they are?
Yeah. You know what? I will do that. Whenever we're done, when I eat the funnel cake, I will, and I'll send it to you.
Like, these are the worst funnel cakes I've ever had in I don't know where, Iowa. So you go on the road after this. What else? Let's promote whatever else you got going on.
Oh man, I'm everywhere. I'll go ahead and say I'm scheduled to be at the NWA August 28th for the Empower. I have the weekend before that, I have Southern Pride in Tennessee. Where else? SWE, obviously, that's who I consider my home promotion now. I just became the women's television champion, the first one ever.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm still the USA Championship Wrestling's women's champion. So I've been that champ for like a year now. Um,
What's it like, real quick? Let me ask you, what's it like to hold your first belt? Like, not hold your first belt, but like to just have it around and be like, oh yeah, I got that belt that I bring with me everywhere.
um, I mean, obviously, I'm super proud of every belt that I get, because that means that people they support me and have a lot of confidence in me and think I deserve to carry a belt. But when they make those beautiful heavy belts, man, putting them in my carry-on, I'm like, this is like 12 extra pounds.
Yeah. I interviewed Deanna Perrazzo not long ago, and she said that it's the first thing she puts in her bag, so she remembers it. Like she packs that first, and then all the clothes on top of it. And I feel like she said she actually had a replica belt made just in case. Like just in case
That's not a bad idea.
she misplaced it. Like if she's got to go to a TV or something or an event and she like forgot the actual, just one that would like be a placeholder just in case.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
I think SWE has done that. They have like 2 different women's belts. No one's forgotten one yet, but you never know. So
yeah, that seems like the first thing you would pack. Just throw it in your bag and know it's there. But make them pay for the extra 12 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think when I get home, unless I have to do a promo, I don't even think I take it out of my bag. Like
that's a good idea.
I get it.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you'd need it around the house.
Yeah, exactly. So
maybe you're gonna cut a promo on your boyfriend when he makes fun of your quesadillas.
Right.
You put it over your shoulder and you just cut a promo on him and be like, you think you could do it better, and you can just like do it right in that moment.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna do that next time. Now that you said that.
I've given you a lot of homework. You got to cut a promo on a funnel cake. You got to cut a promo on your boyfriend after a quesadilla. What was I forget what the other one was. There was one other one. Oh, you got to bring back the test of strength. I've given you a lot of homework, Miranda.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm obviously going to get kicked out of the fair and then my house. So.
I mean, more time to travel. I don't know.
And that's all that matters.
I'll cover for you. I'll help you out.
Okay.
Well, I wish you the best of luck and hope to talk to you soon. When you're doing other things and maybe in other promotions or maybe in all the promotions. Who knows?
Oh yeah, you never know. I just go where people take me. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing now is like people work in like 3 or 4 different promotions.
Yeah.
And you can work anywhere.
Cool yeah, exactly.
It's pretty awesome. I think it's called the Omega Rule or something like that, where you can just show up anywhere you want with any belt. Just be in different promotions. Thanks a lot, Miranda.
Yeah, thank you.